obviously you guys can't start without me.
Naturally.
Okay, Student Senate, if you'll go ahead and start finding your seats. I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, we'll now begin roll call. Almadani. Beasley. Belina. Betancourt. Bond. Booz. Bowers. Boykin. Brentsey. Burke. Carlson. Carr. Clark. Clements. Coggeshall. Colasico. Cruz. Dowd. Gallardo. Gilliland King. Gillespie. Glasscock. Hamlin. Hines. Huffman. Jabin. Jonak. Kelly. Kerperin. Kidd. King. Koger. Kurzweil. Coleman. Lux. Matos. Meinhardt. Oxner. Orzakowski. Pelton. Payton. Phillips. Preuss. Rodriguez. Reichert. Slichter. Smith. Snyder Ben. Snyder Blaine. Spellman. Wallace. Ward. Watkins. Whitmer. Yokley. And Zimmerman. We have 48 senators present, 2 excused, and 8 absent. Oh, actually, sorry, I forgot directors, which we're doing now. Belk. Bruner. Chiefchi. Cohen. Kraslow. Dunfield. Gammon. Gertson. Heisey, Hopfinger, Hornung, Horton, Karmali, Kulkarni, Land, Lundeen, Nunez, Penny, Polson, Steiner, Wilbrandt, and then Riffle and Chumland.
Right, with that, we'll move into our first open period. Our first open period speaker tonight is Kaylee McLaughlin, Editor-in-Chief of K-State Collegian.
So I was actually scheduled to speak before everything that happened yesterday. So I'm going to talk about all the things that I was going to talk about, and then you can ask me the questions that you want to. So last semester, I came here with Rachel, who's my former co-editor-in-chief, and talked about like our vision for the Collegian. That's still our goal. We're still building a digital platform. But some things have taken a bit of a back seat as we're looking for a new director of CMG. Our longtime director of CMG took a job at KU over the summer, so that's ongoing. And also, we're just generally working to get closer to other student publications. Right now, we're doing a podcast with Wildcat 91.9, and we're looking at adding more podcasts, specifically a game day podcast as well. And also, we're bringing back our newsletters this semester. Those stopped, unfortunately, but we're working on reprogramming the system to bring them back. So, kind of brief. And then, also, we're going to start doing some internal fundraising things to get alumni involved in what the Collegian is doing. All right, now I'll do questions.
Right, are there any questions for a speaker?
Yeah.
Senator Beasley. I don't think we'll do a specific SGA focused. I think we'll just keep it news, and SGA tends to fall under news. So, Okay, any further questions? All right, seeing none, thanks so much for coming. Okay, with that, we'll move into approval of the minutes. Is there a motion? Senator Coker. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Are there any objections? Senator Beasley.
Yeah, can we strike the line that you added in?
Yes, good catch. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to scratch an additional line. Good reading to Senator Beasley and Chair Booz. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as amended.
So, for those of you, I wanted to do a test to see how many people actually read out the minutes that I send out each week. I sent out the minutes later, and I actually sent them out yesterday. But in the minutes, there was a line that said, if you email Speaker Heatherman 3 goals for the year, you'll receive 1 free half absence to cash in at any time. It was just right in the middle of the minutes. So those of you who did that, good job. I might do more things like that in the future, but maybe you should read the minutes from now on so you'll actually know when those are happening. So that's your reminder to read the minutes moving forward.
All right, moving into announcements for the week. First, the provost office is now searching for 6 students to serve on various groups for the K-State 2025 refresh planning efforts. Please consider nominating a student who may be a good fit for one of these groups, which they're global health, food and biosecurity, cyber land grant university, or innovation and education. The link's attached there. Proxies for this week are Brins for Rivera and Hamlin for Al-Abdullah. SGA Member of the Week is Cy Mari for his work preparing to give the Fine Arts Fee presentation to the Privilege Fee Committee this week. Quote of the week is, someone once told me that time is a predator that stalks us all in our lives. Stalks us all our lives. But I rather believe that time is a companion who goes with us on the journey and reminds us to cherish every moment because it will never come again. Jean-Luc Picard. Moving into commendations, is there a motion to consider Resolution 29? Senator King. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 29. Will the author come forward?
Resolution 19-2029 by Cameron Koger and Sarah Pelton. Whereas David Fallon has taught in the College of Business at Kansas State University for the past 23 years consecutively, at Kansas State University for a total of 25 years, showing an amazing commitment to the College of Business Administration students at Kansas State University. Whereas Mr. Fallon has been recognized as a distinguished professor by the Wall Street Journal, received the Ralph E. Ritz Award at Kansas State University for his outstanding teaching, has been recognized by Kansas State University football team with their Faculty Staff Appreciation Award, along with several other awards he's received. Whereas the Kansas State University College of Business is regarded as a top 40 undergraduate school in the nation according to studies by Bloomberg, thanks in large part to Mr. Fallon's contributions, and whereas Kansas State University Student Governing Association is committed to acknowledging and praising faculty for their commitment towards serving students, be it resolved that Section 1, the Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends David Fallon for his contributions and commitments to the Kansas State University College of Business Administration. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to David Fallon, the College of Business Administration Dean Kevin Gwinner, and University President Richard B. Myers.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 29? Senator Phillips. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 29 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 29 is approved. Right, moving on to Resolution 30, is there a motion to consider? Chair Booz. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 30. Will the author come forward?
Resolution 19-2030, Commendation to the Kansas State University Marching Band by Nick Beasley. Whereas the Kansas State University Marching Band hosted the Central States Marching Festival on Saturday, September 28th, 2019 at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, whereas the Central States Marching Festival was staffed entirely by KSUMB members, whereas the KSUMB is made up of students from all 8 undergraduate colleges, of which 40% are non-music majors, whereas the Central States Marching Festival has been hosted by the KSUMB annually as an opportunity for high school marching bands traveling from across the Midwest from schools of all sizes to perform for judges. Whereas some high school marching bands were able to participate in clinics hosted by the KSUMB to practice and receive constructive feedback from experienced band members on their shows prior to performing before the judges. Whereas at the end of the festival, the KSUMB performed a medley of classic melodies from the Beatles. Whereas many current members of the KSUMB recall Central States Marching Festival as the band and the band's performance at the end as reasons they came to Kansas State University. Whereas last year's festival was stricken by storms, whereas this year, despite inclement weather, the KSUMB was able to adapt from last year's obstacles and run the festival successfully. And whereas after performing, every member of the band stayed to clean the entire stadium, following the motto, "Leave it better than you found it." Be it resolved that the Kansas State, Section 1, the Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends the Kansas State University Marching Band for its members' hard work and continued dedication to the university, community, and the culture of marching band in the region. And Section 2, upon the passage by Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Director of Bands, Dr. Frank Trace, Assistant Director of Bands, Dr. Alex Wimmer, Director of the College of Music, Theater, and Dance, Jeff Ward, and University President Richard B. Myers.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Oh, Chair Orzechowski. Yeah.
If they should be, then no?
Yeah, we can make that change.
Yeah, we can make that change. Oh, also, I have a amendment that needs to be made. The 40% are non-music major. That's actually 70%.
Okay. Do you have that one? All right, any further questions or corrections? Right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 30? Senator Javin. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 30 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 30 is approved.
Go Cats.
Right, is there a motion to consider Resolution 31? Chair Booz. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 31. Will the author come forward?
Resolution 1920-31 by Hannah Heatherman and Sarah Wallace. Whereas on September 19, 2019, the K-State Office for the Advancement of Women in Science and Engineering hosted the 8th Annual Women of Distinction Recognition Ceremony. Whereas the ceremony recognized K-State women faculty for achievements such as earning tenure and promotion, being promoted to full professor, or winning a university-wide award. Whereas Tamara Bauer, Lydia Montenegro Cadena, Lynn Carlin, Gail Eystone, Tanya Gonzalez, Kimberly Kirkpatrick, Barbara Nagel, Jessica Nelson, Brianna Nelson Goff, Ashley Neatfield, Marcella Reiki, Amber Venom, Christine Wilson, and Elizabeth Yeager were recognized for winning university-wide awards. Whereas K-State first was recognized as the University Outstanding Department for Enhancing Diversity, whereas Tatiana Fursova, Jennifer Francois, Katina Kadzi, Shahida Nori, Stephanie Shames, Nora Springer, and Valentina Trinetta were recognized for their participation in the Advanced Distinguished Lecture Series. Whereas economics professor Amanda Gauck received the KAWSE Award. Whereas Kathleen Antonioli, Genevieve Bedoin, Alice Boyle, Melanie Derby, Steffi Dippold, Jamalyn Farney, Judio Butt Gordon, Sarah Gregg, Rebecca Hackman-Ballman, Kadri Koppel, Stacy Kulesa, Jocelyn McDonald, Valerie Padilla-Carroll, Kristen Pelzarski, Megan Rolfe, Sarah Rosenkrantz, Lele Shen, and Sarah Zukoff were recognized for becoming associate professors, and Gay Hawk was recognized for earning tenure as an associate professor. Whereas Christy Kraft, Julia Dogan, Teresa Dewitt, Erica Geisbrecht, Angela Hubler, Sarah Kearns, Sonia Lutter, Martha Mather, Kristen Michael, Julia Pence, Deanne Presley, Gretchen Sassenrath, Jennifer Valanga, and Julie Yu were recognized for becoming full professors, whereas Mary Boglotti Swanson and Emily Clark were recognized for their promotion to clinical full professor, and Lalitha Pederetti was recognized for her promotion to clinical associate professor, whereas Kimberly Kirkpatrick was recognized for becoming a university distinguished professor, whereas Jamie Henningsen was recognized for becoming the director of the Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory, and Amy Betts was recognized for becoming an assistant dean in the College of Engineering, and whereas Stacy Hutchinson, Katie Kindry Page, and Shyla Ye were recognized for becoming new associate deans, and Bonnie Rush was recognized for becoming the College Veterinary Medicine Dean. Be it resolved that Section 1, Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends the 2019 Women of Distinction class for their commitment to advancing the mission of Kansas State University. Section 2, KSU SGA commends KAWSC for dedicating an intentional space to recognize the work of these women across campus. Section 3, upon passage of Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution will be sent to all 2019 recognized women of distinction, the Dean of each academic college, and Director of KAWSE, Charlie Baird.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Caucus Leader Burke.
Could we make a similar correction that we did on the last resolution, on line 47 and 48, change it to director, or capitalize director of the Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further corrections or questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 31? Caucus Leader Dowd. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 31 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 31 is approved. Okay, moving into approval of appointments, is there a motion to consider Resolution 32? Senator Coleman. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 32. Will the author come forward?
All right, Resolution 19-2032, approval of new student senator by Senate Operations Committee. Whereas Michael Leverett has chosen to resign from the position of student senator for the College of Arts and Sciences, and, can we add "and" there actually? Whereas Carissa Jonick has the next highest vote total for the College of Arts and Sciences of eligible and willing candidates from the 2019 SGA general election. Be it resolved that the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Arts and Sciences, Carissa Jonick.
Okay, are there any questions or further corrections for the author? Senator Beasley.
That's what I realized as I was reading it. So,
You're good.
yeah.
Any further corrections or questions? Right, seeing none, is there a motion on Resolution 32? Caucus Leader Pelton. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 32 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this resolution is approved. Right, you'll just raise your right hand and say, "I will" at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
Okay, my name's Carissa Jonak. My hometown is Grand Island, Nebraska. My major is chemistry pre-med, and my favorite smell is peppermint.
Okay, we'll now move into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report? Chair Booz.
All right. Hey, everyone. Last Monday at Senate Operations Committee, we continued our discussion about social media regulation and usage. I think we had a really good discussion. It went on for about an hour, and we had basically agreed on most things, if not everything. And so, like, our aim for social media is we're going to kind of have a definition for social media, and then we're also going to have a definition for group messaging and try to keep the regulations for those distinct, especially as we move into fleshing those out. And so we're just trying to keep things like GroupMe or email with your campaign in the group messaging section, and then like something where you're exposing your message to the entire community or the world even, and as social media rather than group messaging. So anyway, so we're going to be hopefully going over that final bill next Monday at 8 p.m. in the CSI comments room. And so we would really love your feedback on anything social media or definition of a campaign related at that meeting. And hopefully we can introduce it next week, although it may end up waiting until the following week if we run into some issues. So if you've got any questions, please let me know.
All right, are there any questions for Chair Booz? All right, seeing none, are there any other committee chairs that would like to give a report? Chair Watkins.
Hey, so on October 29th, it's a Tuesday, we're going to be hosting a rental housing forum in conjunction with the City of Manhattan. Basically, it's going to be open to all K-State students, faculty, and staff, the Manhattan community at large, and then soldiers that are stationed at Fort Riley but renting from here. So by the end of the week, you guys are going to receive a survey. If you guys are renters, I encourage you to fill it out. Basically, we're going to use the survey information to get data and use that when we're doing the forum. We want to get feedback about what's working for renters and what's not, and figure out what the city can do better, and what information can be given to you guys. So I encourage you all to come.
Are there any questions for Chair Watkins?
What time will that forum be at?
7 to 8:30. and it'll be in the Union Ballroom.
Okay, any further questions for Chair Watkins? Right, seeing none, are there any other committee chairs that would like to give a report? Are there any directors that would like to give a report? Director Hopfinger.
Hey, I'm just here to discuss legislative advocates because there's going to be some changes made to that program this year. In previous years, it's been open to about 20 to 25 people. And basically the goal of the group, for you guys who don't know, is they go to Higher Education Day in Topeka, along with the student body president, vice president, speaker. I believe the chief of staff typically goes, as well as the GR chair. And we go and lobby for an agenda, which is not set yet. That's normal, so we're not behind or anything. That'll get set as we know more about the upcoming session. We work closely with Sue Peterson and the GR office in Anderson Hall. And that's basically who we work closely with in getting this day put together. But this year, we're going to shrink the number of legislative advocates down because in the previous years where the number was 20 to 25, less than 50% of the advocates actually go to Topeka. And that's pretty much the only day besides possible K-State days in Topeka, which again, we're working with Sue Peterson to decide if that's something we want to do this year. We don't want to be taking 20 to 25 people to weekly meetings, getting them ready for a day, and then all of a sudden saying, actually, joke's on you, you're not coming. So this year we're going to be looking to release the application at the very end of October. I believe the date we have right now is October 24th, and we're going to kick that off as well with hopefully we can get Dr. Peterson in here to speak a little bit about more in depth about what this day looks like. And then from there, we want to close that application on November 10th and then have everybody notified a few days after that on if they've gotten the position. And then from there, the first meeting we'd like to do by the end of that week, if not the beginning of the next week. That way we can have one good meeting before Thanksgiving break. And that first meeting, we'd also like to include Dr. Peterson in it to kind of do a more intimate meeting with her, and we can get some more agenda things up and running. Following that, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we will meet directly as a group, but Dr. Peterson won't be involved. Hopefully twice, but I know between Thanksgiving and Christmas, things can get a little hectic, especially with finals coming up. And then right after that, when we get back from Christmas break, that's when we'll really hit the ground running with weekly meetings because Higher Education Day sneaks up on us pretty quick. It's usually the last of January or very beginning of February. And then again, we'll reevaluate if there's going to be a K-State day in Topeka. Then of course we'd keep legislative advocates going and engaged and prepared for that. Beyond that, legislative advocates, we wouldn't be doing a weekly meeting. We'd probably keep it to twice a month and every other week because obviously we want to stay as engaged as we can with our legislators in Topeka. As far as spending time in Topeka, that wouldn't be our main focus. It would be kind of working with them through emails and contacting them directly by phone calls to make sure that we're advocating as closely as we can. A couple highlights to legislative advocates I want to make is that typically within this group, our focus is very, very mainly focused on higher education funding for the university. My freshman year is when this group started, and then my sophomore year is really when it got kicked off the ground. So that was in 2017, 2018 would have been my sophomore year, and that's when the gun debate was still a big deal about concealed carry on campus. So that was a unique situation in which we brought guns into the legislative discussion. But as far as that goes, typically the more controversial social issues are something that we shy away from a little bit in legislative advocates because it tends to lose some of those swing votes we're looking for higher education funding. So this is a very nonpartisan group that's very important. All sides are represented. It's not the right or the left or anything. It's a very nonpartisan, do the best thing for the university, do the best thing for the students at the university. That's our first and foremost goal. So definitely be on the lookout for that application. It's coming in a couple weeks. We'll do some promotional things on social media. So if you guys could help out and just share those, anybody who's interested. Obviously, student senators, we'd love to have you guys involved as much as possible as well. So if you're interested in joining, we'd love to have you apply. For a number, I'm sure it's curious, we're looking to do anywhere from 7 to 10. If there's a huge interest, we'll try to boost that number to meet the demands. But we also want to be very careful that we're not giving slots to people and then not bringing them to Topeka. We want to make sure that you're actually using your time as wisely as possible. So with that, anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Director Hopfinger? Chair Booz.
Just to clarify, was the reason that you weren't taking as many people as you had legislative advocates to Topeka because
it has to do with the structure of the way the day's set up, especially in the legislative session. That by the time that we go to Topeka, the session will have already begun, and House members and senators are leaving and going to votes, and they're doing this, and it's just kind of the nature of the political side of things in Topeka, that their schedules aren't set until the day of, and every university in Kansas that's a public university goes to Higher Education Day on the Hill. So there's only so many legislatures and only so many time slots for meetings that it just became too many people that we couldn't get them in for meetings.
Further questions for Director Hotfinger? Right, seeing none, are there further directors' reports? Chair Bruner. Director Bruner.
Hi everyone. Okay, so I've decided that I want to make monthly talks up here so I can let you know what I'm doing, because Safe Bar is moving super quickly and I have a lot of information to go through. But we have a new facilitator up in Lawrence, and we are being trained tomorrow and next Wednesday. So that means that the people in Lawrence will train us, and we will become facilitators, the 14 people that I have signed up. And then us 14 facilitators will go to the bars and train them, and then they will be able to have the Safe Bar sign on their door. And if anyone wants to be trained in Safe Bar, it's tomorrow from 10 to 12 and then Wednesday from 4 to 6. You don't have to train the bars, but it's really good information about bystander intervention and stopping sexual assault and violence in the bars in Aggieville in general.
Any questions?
Can you repeat the times of this training? Sorry.
Oh yeah, tomorrow from 10 to 12 and next Wednesday from 4 to 6.
Any further questions? Vice President Carmelli.
Union Room 206.
Coordinator Colburn.
No, you just have to go to one. I will be at both.
Any further questions? Right, seeing none, any other directors' reports? Director Horton.
I know y'all are wondering why it looks so good. I'd love to tell you, I just got this at the Career Closet. So hit up the Career Center with all your needs. They have great resources. We just checked them out. You can stunt on them. My other piece of fashion are t-shirts. Woo, 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 woo. Yes, so the t-shirts came in, and that's so exciting, and I just wanted to thank you all so much, not only for getting your money in the first time, but then after that little hiccup, getting it in again, and then for those of you who were extra generous, I just appreciated that so much. So just know that you're very loved and appreciated, and you can go ahead and pick them up at the end of Senate, and then hit me up if you want to get it before next week. I think that's all.
Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, any further directors' reports? Chief of Staff Polson.
Hello, everyone. For those of you I have not met yet, my name's Sadie, and I'm the Chief of Staff this year for Jansen and Ali. I just kind of wanted to give you an update on what Cabinet's been doing. I know sometimes people are like, Cabinet doesn't do anything because our meetings are at 6 and they're not a part of Senate, and Cabinet members are not required to come to Senate. So I kind of wanted to touch on a few things we've been doing. This year, I kind of wanted to take a different approach to our Cabinet meetings in what I've been calling Destination Cabinet. So we've been touring a lot of different campus resources and seeing what all is out there outside of the Center for Student Involvement. Tonight we went to the Career Center and visited with Dr. Keller, and Maggie was able to get a couple new Biz Cash pieces. We also have visited Cat's Cupboard, and then for the looking towards the rest of the semester, we'll be visiting, I have to think, Lafine. We'll be touring Lafine and talking with Jim Parker there. And then we'll have a few people come into CSI and do a couple fun workshops, including a workshop on how to lead effective meetings. So I think that'll be really sweet. We definitely want to give our cabinet members time to talk about things they've been working on, as well as some professional and personal development. A few things cabinet members have been working on that have not yet been talked about. I was going to mention Safe Bar, but I'm glad Cheyenne was here to do that for you. One thing our Student Achievement Director, Orlando Nunez, has been working on with the Career Center and with the union is looking at how we can donate graduation gowns. And then for students who don't have the resources to purchase a graduation gown or cap, we would have a donated stockpile somewhere. So that's kind of in early conversations, working with last year's student body president, Jordan Keel, as well. She kind of started that for us. Another thing, Director Lundeen put together his Green Action Fund committee, so they'll start looking at sustainable ways to continue funding different entities on campus. And then our Wellbeing Director is looking at a mental health symposium for spring 2020. Those of you who were in SGA last year might remember the mental health dialogue. This will look a little different, but kind of along the same lines. And then also working on census, preparing for Census 2020, KSU-NI, the Intercultural Leadership Council, and then Spirit, which I know Jansen has talked a little bit about. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Chief of Staff Polson? All right, seeing none, further director's reports, President Penny.
Really quick tonight, just two things. Tuition and Fee Strategies Committee will be meeting again on Tuesday at 5:15 in the CSI conference room. This week, we just went over the course fee for Health and Human Sciences, and Dean Buckwalter went over his presentation on how that's being utilized now that it's 4 years later, and where those collections are going. So if you would like to be there to ask him questions or to learn more about that, that's on Tuesday, 5:15, CSI conference room. And then second, I know I mentioned it last Thursday at Senate as well, but for K-State 2020 Refresh, which is a joint mission between the president and provost to look at refreshing our plan of what K-State aspires to be by 2025. Those planning groups are now forming, and so the provost is looking for 2 student representatives per planning group. And there's 3 planning groups, the names of those. 1, Global Food, Health, and Biosecurity. 2, Cyber Land Grant. And 3, Innovation in Education. So if any of those really kind of spark your interest, or you're like, wow, like it sounds cool, but I really don't know what we talk about in there, but might want to be at that table. If you'll go to where Hannah sent out the agenda in that email, there's a link to a recommendation form. And this also provides a great opportunity, not just if you want to self-recommend to be on one of these committees, but if you also know a younger student who is in your living organization, who you have in classes, or someone who might not even be, definitely not like an SGA too, or might not be tied in, but like really be interested in some of these areas, that would be a great opportunity to recommend them for that, because we would really like to bring a lot more people into this conversation than just more SGA members who are older as well. So I think we're seeing this as a great opportunity, and we'd love to see your recommendations for that. And those are due next Thursday by after Senate. So, is there any questions?
Are there any questions for President Penny? All right, seeing none, are there further director's reports? Okay, moving into college caucus time. Tonight we're going to be in small groups that aren't by your college caucus. And if I can have Senate Executive Committee members come to the front of the room, please. I'll switch to the wireless mic. Okay, so I wanted to be sure that since we have some interns who are with us tonight, or maybe people visiting Senate, that they're able to equally engage in the conversation, so groups aren't perfectly broken up. But if your name, if your last name starts with an A or a B, can you raise your hand? All right, A's and B's are going to be with Max, and who's your partner? And Ollie. You guys are staying here in Wildcat Chamber, so just stay put. If your last name starts C, D, E, F, raise your a hand. Let's add G. Okay. You guys will all be with Donnie, and where are you guys going? Okay, you guys are going to the second floor, the seating area by the piano. H through, let's guess and go M. H through M. Get rid of M. Where does that put us? No more M's. No more L's. Sorry. Okay. That group's fine. With Jansen and Julia, where are you going? By the fireplace. And then M's through S. What's that? Okay. Cut back. Somebody help me. P. Through P. R. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, you guys will be with Justin. Where are you going? Okay, you guys are going to the speaker and pro tem office, so that's fine that it's smaller. And then so S through V. How many people don't have a group? Okay. Let's do that group. Go with Sadie and Andrew. Where are you guys going? They're going to room 202. And then the rest of the alphabet, raise your hand. Perfect. It'll work fine. And then you'll be with Nathan and Tell. And you guys are going?
We are in the CSI lobby.
CSI lobby. All right, ready, set, break. We'll come get you when time's just close. I think we're waiting on one more group to come back, but go ahead and start finding your seats. Also, everybody should have a piece of paper in front of them. If you don't, raise your hand. Do you have one? Okay, perfect. All right, as soon as it's quiet, we'll resume with the agenda. Okay, we'll move to approval of minor allocations. Is there a motion to approve the minor allocations? Senator Prus. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minor allocations. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. All right, the minor allocations are approved. Moving into final action, will the author of Bill 10 please come forward? Have any changes been made?
Yes, actually. I need to get to it. But we struck a portion in, wait, I was going the wrong direction. We struck the portion that was referring to the secretary of the Student Senate. So that once, okay, here you go. Okay, so we struck the portion of line 50 that, so it's now will read a statement with the result of the vote of each college council or caucus shall be returned to the Student Senate. In that case, if we end up removing the secretary position, we will not need to amend the Constitution a second time because it only needs to be delivered to the Student Senate, however that is specified by the speaker or the other, whoever they delegate it to.
Okay, are there any questions for the author?
This? Yeah, it's on.
Okay, just checking. Sorry, any questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, we'll move into a roll call vote on bill. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, first right to debate.
Right. I don't have much to say here. I haven't gotten any other questions other than what we had last time in the introduction of legislation. So I just want to make sure that you know what the purpose of this legislation is. And really, the purpose of this is to avoid us being able to pass a constitutional revision while only voting once in Senate, because that actually has happened several times in the past, and under our current constitutional amendment procedure could happen easily. And so by voting for this legislation, you're basically voting for provisions that will make sure that either Senate in different groups and college council college caucus groups, or the college caucus, or the college councils themselves, which hopefully it will be always be the college councils, will be voting on this legislation as well as us. And so on any amendments as well as us. And so that makes it more redundant and makes sure that we don't make any changes that are opposed by a significant fraction of the student body. And so I'd love this to be passed via the ratified via the college caucuses as well. So if you're on a college caucus, please let them know that you'll have an amendment coming their way. So please vote yes on this legislation.
Right, are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, is there any debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Any debate at all? Right, we'll move into a roll call vote on Bill 10.
And just so everyone's aware, because this bill is like a constitutional amendment, it requires 3/4 of Student Senate to pass, not just like the usual 50%. So just let everyone know. It's 3/4 of all qualified, actually, senators. So that number right now is 39 votes. So just so everyone knows. Okay. Al Abdullah? Al Madani? Beasley? Yes. Belina? Yes. Betancourt? Yes. Bond? Yes. Booz? Yes. Bowers? Yes. Boykin? Yes. Brentsey? Yes. Burke? Yes. Carlson? Yes. Carr? Clark? Yes. Clements? Yes. Coggeshall? Yes. Colasico? Yes. Cruz? Dowd? Gallardo? Yes. Gilliland King? Gillespie? Yes. Glasscock? Yes. Hamlin? Yes. Hines? Yes. Huffman? Yes. Jabin? Yes. Jonak? Yes. Kelly? Herperin? Yes. Kidd? King? Yes. Koger? Kurzweil? Yes. Coleman? Yes. Lux? Matos? Yes. Meinhardt? Yes. Oxner? Orzakowski? Yes. Pelton? Yes. Payton? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Preuss? Yes. Rivera? Yes. Rodriguez? Yes. Reichert? Yes. Slichter? Yes. Smith? Yes. Snyder Ben? Yes. Snyder Blaine? Yes. Spellman? Ward? Yes. Watkins? Whitmer, Yokely, and Zimmerman. Bill passes 49 to 0 to 0.
Right, will the author of Bill 11 please come forward? Have any changes been made?
Yes. So after considering some changes or some situations with Tau Beta Sigma's funding and fundraising, we decided that it would be better to amend the last week's bill from 2,500 as a recommendation and striking that out and inserting 5,000 as our new recommendation. That's it.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Right, seeing none, first right to debate.
Yeah, so Kappa Kappa Psi Tau Beta Sigma is holding this event on January 24th. It's a concert. They're holding one of the most prestigious bass ensembles in the country. Sounds like a great event. I encourage you all to attend. And please vote with me a yes. Yes.
Right, are there any questions for our speaker? Is there any debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Debate at all? Senator Smith? It's been moved and seconded to bulk roll call 11, bills 11 and 12. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Right, motion carries. Bills 11 and 12 will be bulk roll called. Was there any further debate on Bill 11? Seeing none, we'll move into bulk roll call. Sorry, Bill 12, go ahead.
Yeah, so no corrections were made. Bill 12 is to an allocation on the spot improv. They're holding an event, Delfest, and they're expecting quite a few individuals to work on their improv skills. So please vote yes on that too. Thank you.
Okay, any debate in the negative? Debate in the positive? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So our conversation in committee is based on educational value, what fundraising they've done, and things of that nature. So we decided that 2,000 was a good amount for their overall educational value and situation and their fundraising that they're looking to attain.
Any other questions? Right. Seeing none, is there any debate in the negative on Bill 12? Further debate in the positive? Any debate at all? Okay, we'll move into bulk roll call on Bills 11 and 12.
So we're doing bulk roll call right now, which means we're voting on Bills 11 and 12 at the same time. So you can just say yes to all if you want to vote yes on both of them, or you can like specify when I get to your name. So you can say like yes to 11, no to 12, just so everyone's clear. So to start with, Al Abdullah, Al Madani, Beasley, Belina, Betancourt, Bond, Booz, Bowers, Boykin, Brency, Burke, Carlson, Carr, Clark, Clements, Coggeshall, Colasico, Cruz, Dowd, Gallardo, Gilliland King, Gillespie, Glasscock, Hamlin, Hines, Huffman, Jabin, Jonak? Kelly? Kerperin? Kidd? King? Koger? Kurzweil? Coleman? Lux? Matos? Meinhardt? Oxner? Orzakowski? Pelton? Peyton? Phillips? Prus? Rivera? Rodriguez? Reichert? Slichter? Smith? Snyder Ben? Snyder Blaine? Spellman? Wallace? Ward? Watkins? Whitmer? Yokely? And Zimmerman. Bills 11 and 12 pass 50 to 0 to 0.
All right, will the author of Bill 13 please come forward? Chair Booth. It's been moved and seconded to hold Bills 13 and 14 for bulk roll call. All those in favor, aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion's carried. Bills 13 and 14 will be held for roll call. Have any changes been made?
Nope, no changes have been made.
First right to debate.
All right, so this is basically the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, Air Conditioning Engineers, and they're going to their winter conference. They're going to get to see a bunch of new technologies, get to see basically what they can do in the workforce. So it'll be a really good opportunity for them.
Are there any questions for the speaker? All right, seeing none, is there any debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Any debate at all? All right, with that, we'll move to Bill 14. Have any changes been made?
Nope, no changes have been made.
Okay, first right to debate.
So this is the travel allocation to the student chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects. They're going to their expo in San Diego, California. They're basically going to look at new and upcoming research topics that their third and fourth years can basically go into and start researching when they become fifth years. And so this is kind of going to basically become their lives for the next few years. So let's help them out.
All right, are there any questions for a speaker? Is there any debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Any debate at all? All right, we'll move into bulk roll call on Bills 13 and 14, same rules as before.
Okay, Al Abdullah? Al Madani? Beasley? Belina? Betancourt? Bond? Booz? Bowers? Boykin? Brentsey? Burke? Carlson? Carr? Clark? Clements? Coggeshall? Colasico? Cruz? Dowd? Gallardo? Gilliland King? Gillespie? Glasscock? Hamlin? Hines? Huffman? Jabin? Jonak? Kelly? Kerperin? Kidd? King? Koger? Kurzweil? Coleman? Lux? Matos? Meinhardt? Oxner? Orzakowski? Pelton? Peyton? Phillips? Prus? Rivera? Rodriguez? Reichert? Slichter? Smith? Snyder Ben? Snyder Blaine? Spellman? Wallace? Ward? Watkins? Whitmer? Yokely? And Zimmerman. Bills 13 and 14 pass 52 to 0 to 0.
All right, with that, we'll now move into introduction of minor allocations. Is there a motion to consider the minor allocations? Senator Coker. It's been moved and seconded to consider the minor allocations. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Bill 15, on-campus allocation to Kappa Delta Chi, requested $700, recommended $650. Bill 16, travel allocation to the American Chemical Society student affiliate, requested $500, recommended $500. Bill 17, travel allocation to Asian American Student Union, requested, that should actually be, Bill 17 is a misprint in that section. So Bill 17 is travel allocation to Engineers Without Borders, requested $300, recommended $300. Introduction of legislation. Is there a motion to consider Bill 18? Senator Colaseco. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 18. Will the author come forward?
All right, so this is FY 2020 travel allocation to the Asian Student Union, or Asian American Student Union, by the Travel Allocation Committee. So whereas the Travel Allocation Committee received and reviewed the travel request of the Asian American Student Union, whereas the Asian American Student Union will send 15 students to the Midwest Asian American Student Union Leadership Summit in Wichita, Kansas from October 18th, 2019 through October 20th, 2019. Whereas attendees will have the opportunity to attend workshops that will develop their leadership skills and allow them to network with Asian American professionals. Whereas attendees will have the opportunity to connect with other Asian American students from various colleges, whereas the Asian American Student Union is registered with the Center for Student Involvement as a departmental student organization, and whereas the funds requested by this group and the funding recommendations made are as follows. Project 1, Midwest Asian American Student Union Leadership Summit, October 18th through 20th, Wichita, Kansas. They requested $1,000, were recommended $1,000. Be it enacted that Section 1, the Asian American Student Union shall be allocated $1,000 for the event described. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, these funds shall be transferred from the SGA account to the account of the Asian American Student Union.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Phillips.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so basically for the cap of money is basically you can get $100 per student up to 10 students for a maximum of $1,000, and that's per SGA term. Another thing to note is that you can only submit 2 travel allocations, and that $1,000 is cumulative between the two. So for instance, say the Asian American Student Union wants to go to a different conference. This is their $1,000 that they're getting allocated, so that's all of their money right here in this one bill. So that's one thing to note. And then for the educational value, mainly we looked at like basically, so what are these students going to learn? What kind of workshops are they attending? What speakers, what are they going to bring back to campus? So a lot of groups will go to these events and then host like on-campus events or things like that and really bring it back to their colleges, or it'll become like a fundamental thing in whatever career they're going to pursue.
Okay, any further questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to consider Bill 2019? Chair Booz. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 19. Will the author come forward?
Okay, so this is FY 2020 travel allocation to Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America by the Travel Allocation Committee. Whereas the Travel Allocations Committee received and reviewed the travel request of the Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America, whereas Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America will send 3 students to the Public Relations Student Society of America National Conference in San Diego, California from October 18th, 2019 through October 22nd, 2019. Whereas attendees will have the opportunity to attend workshops, network with working professionals, attend several presentations by keynote speakers, and explore career development exhibitions. Whereas attending this conference will allow the executive members of the Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America to attain more knowledge of how to better their chapter, whereas Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America is registered with the Center for Student Involvement as a departmental student organization, and whereas the funds requested by this group and the funding recommendation are made as follows. Project 1, Public Relations Student Society of America National Conference, October 18, 2019 through October 22nd, 2019, San Diego, California. They requested $1,227.91. Since they're only taking 3 students, they're only eligible for $300. Just one thing to note there, so that's why we recommended them $300. Be it enacted that Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America shall be allocated $300 for the event described. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, these funds shall be transferred from the SGA account to the account of Kansas State Public Relations Student Society of America.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Phillips?
Yeah, that was pretty much the entire amount for the trip in general. They just kind of requested it all through SGA.
Granted.
Yeah, so on the front page of the form, which you all can see, it's under forms in the just in OrgSync or Org Central in general now. But basically on the front page, it says that every organization is basically $100 per student, up to 10 students for that max of 1,000.
Okay, any further questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, we'll now move into second open period. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Caucus Leader Spellman.
Okay, it's a long walk from the back of the room. I just wanted to provide a couple updates based on what GR is doing in terms of a new student organization and then stuff regarding elections committee. So first off, I wanted to start with a big project coming up. So the Governmental Relations Committee is currently working on a voter registration drive. The last day to register to vote will be October 15th. That is 2 weeks away as of a couple days ago. So we're on a very tight deadline. Right now the plan is to have 5 locations across campus, and I'm currently working to finalize times for those. But we are looking for volunteers. So if you were a part of the drive last year and you would love to be involved this year, let me know. If you are new to SGA or new to, I guess, being interested in voter registration, also let me know. I will happily send you training materials. We'll sit down, have a chat. I'll fill you in on everything you need to know. But we are really needing people. So if you are able and willing to volunteer on the 15th, please reach out to me. The second part is with a new student organization. So I created Wildcats Vote. If you were a part of SGA last year, you'll know as being the GR chair, I kind of started the dialogue with voter registration for a large amount of entities on campus. This organization is focused on kind of continuing that conversation. So again, I'm looking for people if you wanted to be a part of this organization. I'll stick around after the meeting so I can catch you up. Our first meeting is going to be sometime next week, so Monday or Tuesday if anyone's interested. But this organization, of course, this being the first year that it's created, is kind of meant to serve as a continuation from all the work that we started last year. The last update I have is for the elections commissioner stuff. So as many of you know, I was sworn in as elections commissioner. Part of my role will be to work with the elections committee, and that deadline is coming up pretty quickly. So the form isn't quite on OrgSync or has not been updated on Org Central, sorry. But the elections committee will be picked in the next couple weeks. So kind of keep an eye out. I'll send a message with the updated form. If you are interested in serving on the elections committee, the only thing that we ask for your eligibility is that you're not running for election next year. So we really would love some passionate people working towards a successful and smooth election. So keep an eye out for that. I stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Caucus Leader Spellman? Senator Beasley.
How long would, if you're volunteering to do stuff with Wood and Dry, how long would like shifts be?
I have right now probably an hour. So they'll start on the 30-minute mark and they'll go until the next 30-minute mark. If you can't volunteer for a full hour, that's totally fine. A half hour or any just kind of like time in between classes is more than okay. We are pretty much just looking for bodies to run the table right now.
Chief of Staff Polson.
Just send me a message right now. I am trying to just collect information on who's able to volunteer, so like name and K-State emails. So if you have any friends that would be interested in this project, send me their information as well.
Granted.
So there's 5 locations. The union is going to be 2 of them. So right now I have the union both inside the union and Bosco Plaza. Times is in progress, so I'll let you know on that. The other locations I have reserved is at Leadership Studies. That will be from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The engineering building we got reserved today from noon until 4. And then business building right now from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, are there further second open period speakers? Intern Coordinator Colbert. Are there any questions for Coordinator Colburn? All right, seeing none, any further second open period speakers? All right, last thing from me is that everybody should have a white piece of paper in front of them. Raise your hand if you don't have one. And there's extras right there. Can you bring one to Maggie? And what you're going to do on this piece of paper is Nate and I would like it if you could write down on that piece of paper just if SGA currently is meeting your expectations, exceeding your expectations, or failing to meet your expectations. You're more than welcome to elaborate if there's something that you'd like us to know, or if you're concerned about something in particular and want to add your email to it, you may. Otherwise, it's totally going to be anonymous. And this just kind of get a pulse of like how engaged and happy like you all are feeling about your membership in SGA right now. And then here in a minute, Tell will be on one aisle and Lily will be on the other collecting those if you want to fold them up. Are there any questions on what you're doing? Also, just to clarify as well, like if you're an intern, you should like still fill it out. If you're visiting Senate for the first time, you should fill it out. Been here 1 week, do it. Directors, same thing. So. All right, raise your hand if you have not completed it. Okay. All right, is there anybody else who still needs to turn theirs in? Hold them up high. All right, and with that, we'll, for reference of legislation, bills 18 and 19 will be referred to the Travel Allocations Committee, and Nate will finish with roll call.
Okay, Almadani. Beasley. Belina. Betancourt. Bond. Booz. Bowers. Boykin. Brentsey. Burke. Carlson. Carr. Clark. Clements. Kagashal. Colasico. Cruz. Dowd. Gallardo. Gilliland King. Gillespie. Glasscock. Hamlin. Hines. Huffman. Jabin. Jonak. Kelly. Kerperin. Kidd. King. Koger. Kurzweil. Coleman. Lux. Matos. Meinhardt. Oxner. Orzakowski. Pelton. Peyton. Phillips. Preuss. Rivera. Rodriguez. Reichert. Slichter. Smith. Snyder Ben. Snyder Blaine. Spellman. Wallace. Ward. Watkins. Whitmer. Yokely. And Zimmerman. There are 51 senators present.
All right, and with that, is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Coker. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn until next Thursday in Wildcat Chambers at 7 p.m. Any objections? This meeting's adjourned.